Hi, I'm Kevin Michael. I'm currently a lead animator at Ballistic Animation Studios. I've worked with clients such as EA and BioWare on IP such as Dragon Age and Anthem. I've got about 15 years experience in the industry, and I guess I'm here today to answer some of Triggerfish Academy's frequently asked questions. What skills or software should beginners focus on to build a foundation in animation? Right, I would say if we're talking about software, we can have a look at online freeware such as Blender. That's a great place to start just to get into animating, learning all the skills, learning modeling, learning everything you need to do to have a foundation in animation. If we're talking about some of the broader softwares we use in a studio, on a day-to-day, animating on games, animating on film, you can look at Maya. And there's a couple of other things that we use to get into working, such as Unreal Engine or Unity. Those are all really valuable resources and software packages that I think would be great to learn, great to get into on a day-to-day basis. Some of the skills that I think are important to learn as you start out on your journey of animation, those would include really strong posing. If you want to learn how to animate a character, how a character moves, how a character spins around on the spot, you need to look at the weight of the character, you need to look at the timing it takes to turn around, you need to look at how a character walks, how a character runs, how it interacts with its environment. Those are all kind of things that I would suggest that you really get down and learn the ins and outs of how a character moves, how it walks, how it talks. The next thing to maybe look at learning is timing. How does your character, or how does a ball get from point A to point B to point C? Does it go fast? Does it go slow? Does it bounce? Is the ball heavy? This is the weight side of things I was talking about. Is the ball heavy? Is the ball light? And that's going to influence the speed that it gets from point A to point B. What does it do when it stops? So these are all kind of skills that I think are pivotal to being a good animator. I think they're critical to learn. So those are things that I would definitely look out for and start to get into. Do I need to know how to draw to become a good animator? That's a good question, and one that we are asked often in the industry. It really depends on if you're into 2D or 3D animation. I would say that if you are doing 2D, obviously a background in drawing, sketching, all that kind of thing would really help. If you're into 3D animation and that's the trajectory that you're going to follow, I think it's a little bit less critical. What I've found in my experience is working in 3D, a lot of the animators are out of practice with drawing characters, but that doesn't matter because we're able to craft each pose, each line of action, each animation we craft on the PC without really needing to focus on sketching or drawing anything. So I guess it really comes down to what career path you're going, whether it's 2D or 3D, but I would say that you don't need to be able to draw to have a career in animation. What are the best ways to learn 2D or 3D animation on your own? I would say making connections on social media. Any animators, both 2D or 3D that you like their work, give them a follow on LinkedIn, on X, on Instagram. And I think that really looking at what they're doing, really looking at the work that they're creating, that they're crafting, is a great way to learn. There's also a host of valuable resources out there in terms of animation tutorials, walk cycles, run cycles, ways to get from A to B, whether it's jumping, whether it's moving, whether it's flying. The resources are out there and they're really easy to get. Hop on YouTube and it's a great way to teach yourself, to learn at home. Another place you can grab a lot of free resources, fantastic ways to learn both 2D and 3D would be the Triggerfish Academy. You can check them out on the website. Do I need a degree in animation to become a professional in the industry? I would say that a degree in animation is not a necessity. There are valuable things that you can take away from the college experience. There's networking with other professionals. There's chatting to other students. There's working on group projects. All those types of things you can take away as a valuable lesson in how to work with others, how to be a team. But I don't think you need a degree to be successful in the industry. I would say that it's up to the individual as to how hard they're willing to work, how much time they're willing to put in. I do feel that if you if you build your own work behind the scenes and you have a strong presence in terms of willingness to work and to show what you're made of, then I believe that you can be successful in the industry without a degree. What are the best ways to balance quality and efficiency in animation? Well, I think it all comes down to planning your shot. To get the most efficient way to do a shot requires a lot of planning and a lot of work behind the scenes. I think shooting reference, making sure you have good quality reference, making sure you're finding reference on YouTube, whether you've shot it yourself, whether you found some other thing that someone's posted, a video, or anything like that, that all really helps to bring the planning side of things together. If you have a complete idea of what you want to do before you start, it'll definitely speed up your workflow, and that will allow you to spend a lot more time polishing your animations. How can I get feedback on my animation from other animators? So I would suggest that you follow a couple of people on socials, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram. Make sure that you're commenting on their work, the work that you like. I feel that if you are able to connect with them in that way, they might be open to responding to you and connecting with the body of work that you've done, potentially reviewing some of that. Apart from that, there's a couple of resources online. There's a couple of websites that you can go to where you can get professional reviews done on your work. You just submit it and pick a reviewer that you really like, and based on the work that they've done, and they're able to then look at your work in a professional capacity and review that. Do you have any tips for believable creature animation? I think it's really important to gather reference and to study it. Like whether you hop on YouTube, whether you take out your camera at home and you're filming animals around you, I think it's critical for believable creature performance to make sure you understand how that creature moves. Whether it's a bird, whether it's a cat, a dog, a cheetah, a lion, elephant, whatever it is, you need to have real life reference in front of you that you can draw from. Crafting a believable creature experience in animation is quite a difficult thing to do. And I think the harder you look at your reference, the easier it becomes to understand how the body moves, what the shoulder blades are doing, what the legs are doing, what the tail's doing. All these type of things all add or critically add to crafting a believable creature animation. What I would say as well is you could probably focus on things like the hips. Start, let's say you're animating a tiger, you could start with the chest and the hips. You can hide things like the tail, you can hide things like the paws, you can hide anything that overlaps that is unnecessary, and you can really focus on how the hips and the head move, and from there you can work your way outwards. You can start bringing the legs back in, you could start bringing the tail back in, but everything kind of flows from the pelvis, the hips and the chest and works its way outwards. What's the best way to use reference footage in my animation? Well, the way I would do it is I'd find that clip that I really like, find the clip that I need to build my scene with. I would probably start by just looking at the most important key poses on the timeline. I would start to craft some poses based on those key poses that I've identified in the reference clip. And then what I might do after that is bring in the reference onto an image plane inside the 3D software. I know that's possible in every 3D software. So I would bring it onto an image plane, I'd pop it in, I'd connect it up to a camera, and basically then as I'm crafting poses bit by bit, I'm actually seeing the animal, the creature, whatever I'm doing, I'm seeing it move along the timeline as I'm scrubbing, as I'm working, as I'm crafting poses. And that I think is maybe the best way to have it in the scene with you.